Om Sthapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharmasvarupine avatara varisthaya Ramakrishnaya te namaha. We'll continue with the Gospel. April 2nd, 1882. Sri Ramakrishna was sitting in the drawing room of Keshav Chandra Sen's house in Calcutta. It was 5 o'clock in the afternoon. You already know who is Keshav, an important personality, the leader of the Brahmo Samaj. And for his sake, Sri Ramakrishna had, earlier we read, had owed tender coconut and sugar candy to Divine Mother to make him come out of his illness. When Keshav was told of his arrival, he came to the drawing room dressed to go out, for he was about to call on a sick friend. Now he cancelled his plan. The master said to him, "You have so many things to attend to. Besides, you have to edit a newspaper. You have no time to come to Dakshineshwar, so I have come to see you. When I heard of your illness, I owed green coconut and sugar to the Divine Mother for your recovery. I said to her, Mother, if something happens to Keshav, with whom shall I talk in Calcutta?" You see the concern for the devotee who has dedicated his life for the welfare of society. He is just becoming a person who adores Sri Ramakrishna. He is yet to become a devotee in full-fledged strength. He is just coming, but the fact that he has no desire for personal gains and he is dedicating his life for the welfare of the society makes Sri Ramakrishna concerned about him. And because he is not able to come to Dakshineshwar, Sri Ramakrishna has himself gone to his house to see him. Keshav was told of his arrival. He came to the drawing room dressed out, for he was to call on a sick friend. A friend was sick. He was to go and attend to him, means console him, give him moral support, whatever he can do, because he himself was seriously ill. Throughout life, whatever we experience in our life, we understand the pain of loss, pain of bodily ailment. All this we experience. When we experience, we will know what it means. Otherwise, we will be just hearing, and even if he is not a friend, the sainthood, when he hears of a pain of anybody unknown to him also, for example, the war is going on between Russia and Ukraine. So we see Most of the people are unconcerned because it is far away, something happening in the news. But when it happens in our own presence, people are being killed. And when the attack would be on myself and my family, we do not know. Yatishwaranji Maharaj, one of the pioneers of our Ramakrishna Mutt and Mission, Yatishwaranji, you might have read his main book, The Meditation and Spiritual Life. So he was in Germany, and we see it was Second World War. And he is staying in a house alone, and a few devotees of Sri Ramakrishna's circle are there to whom he is attending to, guiding them in their spiritual life. The bombs are falling just in front of his eyes. He comes out. At the door sill he is standing and watching outside. Bombs falling, houses blasting and going away. A person is just, it is blasted into pieces. His hand is somewhere, head is somewhere. This scene melts his heart. He weeps silently. Oh Lord, what is this? Where are you? Then he prays for all those who are suffering. Some are still alive and rolling on the ground, unable to bear the pain. Suppose a leg has gone and other parts are still, and nobody to attend to him. He cannot move. What a state Maharaj is witnessing. And when the same shell would fall on his building, he doesn't know. Then he comes in and goes to his shrine and prays for all. Give them strength to bear those who cannot, those who are hurt. Some people, their family people are dead in their friend. They are experiencing great pain out of some wound, and the person, one or two who are unhurt, are not able to help in any way. No vehicles, no electricity, no movements, till military people come and lift them. There is no other way. So when these things are seen, how our heart would weep. He is not weeping now, hearing the news there. But the saint's heart will be such, it will be getting those vibrations, the shouting of the arthanada of the people who are there. Swami Vivekananda was in Belur Math, returned from West, and night he is pacing up and down with a kind of annoyed state, restless, to think of Swamiji Vivekananda, who has experienced the Nirvikalpa Samadhi, knows the world as just a passing show. Can you imagine a Brahmagnani moving about restlessly in this world? So he is moving about. Next day morning, one who was watching him goes and approaches him and asks, "Why did you not get sleep at night?" He says, "No, somewhere some great calamity has happened and thousands of people are affected and dead. And I am getting those vibrations, arthanada of those people." Imagine, There is no news, there is no anything like war happening or anything. Everything is peaceful. And Swamiji, then within few hours the news comes that there was a earthquake in Japan and thousands of people are dead and affected. So this is the heart of the saint, saintly heart. Now you imagine God coming down. He has come down out of compassion for the jiva. He has come down for the sake of jiva to remove the suffering and bondage forever, to give them freedom, eternal freedom. So here we see how much concerned he is just because Keshav Sen has sacrificed his life for others. And Keshav, on the other hand, he was to go to meet a sick friend and see his heart that he is with all the burden of his work and duties. He is leader of Brahmo Samaj of those days. And see the responsibilities. Amidst that, he is going to meet a sick friend. See, hearts always decide in a different way. Heart is always divine, something which we cannot comprehend in our normal mind cannot comprehend it. We have earthly emotions, but these are divine emotions who have sacrificed, who have pledged their life for the welfare of the society, who have pledged their life for God. The master said to him, "You have so many things to attend to. Besides, you have to see edit a newspaper. You have no time to come to Dakshineshwar, so I have come to see you." When I heard of your illness, I owed green coconut and sugar to the Divine Mother for your recovery. I said to her, "Mother, if something happens to Keshav, with whom shall I talk in Calcutta?" So many other devotees are there. Why only Keshav? So many, almost all devotees' house is going. The thing is, all these devotees who are there are doing good to the world in some way and are living a good life, are interested in transcending the nature, loving God, and attaining something spiritual in their life. They are all true sadhakas. Yet, there is difference between Keshav and other. And showing to Keshav, Sri Ramakrishna refers to Sri Naren, that is Vivekananda, young Vivekananda. He says, Keshav himself is like a small firefly at night, and Vivekananda is like sun, shining in the daytime, illuminating the whole world. You imagine, and what could be the devotee's level? Higher and higher levels of sacrifice. What decides what actually attracts God is your sacrifice. How much you love people, how much you are sacrificing, the amount of sacrifice you do. Vivekananda is eternally free, Nitya Siddha. He has been brought to the world, and Keshav has raised to the spiritual level of giving spiritual information regarding God, and he is leading a people to the spiritual attainments. All other devotees are trying to get something from the spiritual world. He is seeing in dana also. There are so many varieties of giving. Giving food to someone, after 3 hours, again you will see he is hungry. And you give them little education, whole life you will earn his stomach, what he needs for his life living. Give him some wealth that he can make progress further and further, that his whole family can participate and continue a business or something, traditionally or the hereditary, one after the other. Then you are giving something still larger. But nothing compensates the life of spiritual life that transcends the nature forever, attains eternal freedom, mukti, from this whole nature. That is spiritual giving. Now Keshav is trying to give spiritual wealth to people by which they are released from the nature forever. He himself is striving to attain, yet he is trying to share or give, just like a college-going student who is not yet a graduate can teach the 5th, 6th, 7th standard students, even lower than that. So whatever I have got in spiritual world, whatever understanding and knowledge I have got in my spiritual world, I am going to give you. Here they are aspiring for spiritual life, spiritual wealth, other devotees. Sri Ramakrishna has come to give them all fulfillment. He is trying to give the same fulfillment, though he is not a qualified giver like Vivekananda, who is commissioned by the divine. Still, he is longing to give spiritual wealth to others because of the compassion at a higher level. Put an end to all the problems once for all in the man's. Giving food, giving education are all, compared to giving spiritual wealth, is entirely different. Because of that, Sri Ramakrishna is more interested in Keshav. And it is Keshav who is going to first introduce Sri Ramakrishna to the world. Because all these years, throughout his life, he has read some books, he has seen some great people, and imbibed certain spiritual understanding which he is sharing. Now he has seen the ocean of spirituality. He has seen the mine of spirituality, which has no end, endless ocean of bliss, endless ocean of knowledge, endless ocean of bhakti, devotion to God. Now, instead of giving all these small things, if I just introduce to Sri Ramakrishna to the world, it will do. Now, their conversation, whom shall I talk to? This talking with all others is something trying to give, make them understand, make them release from the world. Talking to Keshav is different. He is a giver. They talk on different terms. They talk at spiritual level. How to lift mankind. This is a huge ocean, and that is a tank from where it is going to be supplied. Vivekananda is rain. The ocean is becoming cloud and raining over the world. So this he says, when I go to Calcutta, whom shall I talk to? I vote to Divine Mother. Here another point we have to see is, when things are beyond, when the karmic load, nobody can escape divine providence, nobody can escape divine ordinance. The divine working in the world is very strict and stern as nature. No compromise, no concessions. And because of that, everything is law-bound. This karma, this fruit. This karma, this fruit. You have to, it is imposed upon you. And imposed upon you in such a way that Sukha Dukkha comes to you in such a way that your evolution is possible. It doesn't come in some way. That experiencing that Sukha Dukkha, I have to give something to a person, I can give in any way. I have to give 10 rupees to a person, I can give it in any way, as a knife, as a poison, as a food, as anything. Worth 10 rupees I can give, because I owe him 10 rupees, whatever I have. When nature gives, it gives in such a way. Suppose I give the 10 rupees in the most favorable way that he can use it. How nice it would be. How much beneficial it would be for him. Same thing I can give him, which is going to be a poison for him. Like that, nature, government, when it punishes a criminal, it doesn't see his evolution. It doesn't see his welfare. It sees you have done this, law says it must be given. You will be punished. You will be rewarded. You will be let free. So all these decisions are taken on the law. It doesn't see the welfare at all. But when nature gives the Sukha Dukkha, she is very cautious. She is very conscious. She is very full of compassion and love. Even when something cruel is going to be given to you, if it is needed for your evolution alone. It may look so cruel. Why God is so cruel to me? But that experience is absolutely necessary for you, for your further evolution. Just like you have a wound, an abscess, and you go to the doctor, he says, I will cut it open. He says, I am already suffering, what are you going to do? He says, yes, I have to do it. For your life is in danger otherwise. So this kind of cruelty of nature has a purpose. It sees only the evolution of it. It doesn't see Sukha Dukkha. We see in a different way. I want Sukha, I don't want Dukkha. The only way to cross over the limitations of karma and go is to go beyond the Sukha Dukkha. And it is possible only by realizing God. So this is that Keshav said, for whose sake Sri Ramakrishna prays, whom shall I talk to when I go to the Calcutta? Sri Ramakrishna spoke to Pratap and other Brahmo Samaj devotees. Yam was seated nearby. This Pratap is Pratap Chandra Mazumdar. There were a few leaders of this Brahmo Samaj. Keshav was leading, and others were the leaders below him. Another group later on formed was Vijay Krishna Goswami. Trailoknath was another person, Sanyal. And these four were mainly the Brahmo Samaj leaders who were close to Sri Ramakrishna and knew Sri Ramakrishna intimately, and they were extremely free with him. They can express freely whatever they feel. They can get engaged in conversation just like talking to the family people. So intimate, so freedom. And Sri Ramakrishna, though the incarnation of God, so supreme, like a small villager, See, whenever you see any person, any child or any person, egoless, you will feel very easy to move, easy to talk, easy to tell, easy to confide. Sri Ramakrishna was like that. This is a nature of God. The God is always so simple. Especially when we approach Him, we see He is Sulabha, Saulabhya Paripurnaya. Saulabhya Paripurnaya. It is very Sulabha, approachable and easily accessible. God is easily accessible. Just like a few decades before, to contact anybody in our childhood and all, to send any information little far away, we have to go to the telegraph office with a telegram, and it will be sent through wire to far off places. And then telephone also, it moves through. We used to move through the wire. We have to go to this telephone booth or have a phone at home, and each time go to the phone and ring. And suppose you don't have phone at home, you are not able to provide yourself with that, then you have to go to a telephone booth outside. Wherever telephone is there, say 3 kilometers, 4 kilometers, 5 kilometers, you have to go there and speak and come. Wherever. Now, it is any person in the world is easily accessible because of the mobile. Mobile is all pervading. What you speak, it goes to all pervading. That person whom you are ringing up can be there anywhere, including in air. He may be in the flight, he may be in the bathroom, he may be in the other side of the earth. Because the waves are all pervading. Sukshma, you can't see, but it travels. So it is easily all pervading hood of God makes you easily accessible to all. Wherever you are, think of Him, He is there. You can clearly, a little attention, a little dedication, a little love will make you feel that God is with you at all times. So we see this aspect of God, Saulabhya Paripurnaya. He is easily accessible to us at any time, anywhere, in whatever state. And yesterday, 2 classes before, we discussed another point. The God becomes a part of our existence. When we worship, when we love, when we participate, when we interact, when we commune with God, slowly we see Him within ourselves as an inseparable part of our existence. So, what would be the state? That is the avatarahood by which you will see that God has become your own. Love is such a thing. That's why Sri Ramakrishna says, love takes you to the innermost recesses of your own existence. You can enter God's Antapura, the inner apartments. With Jnana, you can see, meet, experience the great joy, unimaginable. You will be in the ocean of bliss. But here, it is a different attitude and different result. This is what the difference it makes. The bhakta has no dearth for anything. He has both bhakti and as much bhakti as jnana, because it's total dependence on a conscious, all-capable entity, God. He reveals himself various aspects which are not accessible to all. Suppose I go by bypass. The going through the city is like bhakti. You are passing through. The going through bypass is like jnanapatha. And the difference you will see, you are seeing so many things, and you are reaching the same place where the bypass is going to take you. And there is a protector, there is a guide, there is a person who is carrying you in and through all these experiences through the city. It is not like an orphan you are moving helplessly in this world. It's a royal path by which you are on the lap of God, and God is making you pass through all the experiences of the path through which you go to God. These various aspects of God. God as the Vishwarupa, God as the Avatara, God as the, in various aspects you will go on seeing, experiencing Him, and the Absolute also. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om.